Hi guys, welcome back to another week of e-commerce marketing chats with myself, Charles, and Jimmy. Jimmy, how's the last week gone, mate?
Yeah, good. We were just having a brief conversation before the chat about Fable and how I asked you whether you tested it or not before it went down. So I've actually got pretty much like 80% of the way through building my new website on it. So I had a good play with it, and I thought it was, yeah, it was pretty decent. So the website's looking good. I'll have to show you later, but yeah, did some rebranding too, did a new logo. That was with ChatGPT though. So I say this to a lot of people. People are like, oh, what AI do you use? I'm like, "Oh, it really depends what I'm using it for. Like ChatGPT, the image generation is way better than Claude's, but Claude is way better for code. So
Have you tried Claude Design, Jimmy? Because I've been using
yeah,
that a bit recently. Yeah,
yeah, so I've actually been using Claude Design today because I have a presentation that I have to do on Google Ads tomorrow and optimizing Performance Max, and I had all the information for the slides that I wanted to produce, and I just punched it into Claude Design, and it designed the whole slideshow for me. And usually that takes me so long, just the formatting and all that, and yeah, it knocked up a better kind of, I guess, slide deck than I could have ever done. So I'm pretty happy with it actually.
yeah. I started using it for proposals actually. So I won a client recently from a Claude design proposal, and actually just last week I fed it in one of my clients' blog pages because I felt that there was some things that we could do to improve the UX and design. So I fed it the current design. It has a
Yeah,
screenshot. So I just took a screenshot of the existing design, told it, okay, we need to add this, this, and this. And then it gave me basically a HTML version of the blog, which I could then hand off to their developer to actually develop it. So yeah, I've been really impressed with it and how you can build out like effectively different design systems. So basically, I have a design system built out for each of my clients now, including my own brand as well. So you can add like, your color palette and any assets or like visual assets that you've got, and then it will be able to kind of train Claude on your brand and what it is that you do as well. So yeah, I'm using that a lot more recently.
yeah, I need to update my like agreement document, and yeah, I probably should start to, well, definitely be doing proposals in it now because yeah, my proposals look horrible. But like if you can get a template that you're happy with on this, then yeah, it pretty much just saves you that whole formatting time, that whole process. Just yeah, it's just done. It's crazy. So I've been super impressed with the design aspect for it. I think when you're creating images for like social media and stuff, I still think that ChatGPT is way better. But who knows? Claude Design might catch up. I'm not sure. So these things are constantly changing. So yeah, when someone's like, "Oh, what AI are you using?" It's always, well, depends what I'm doing. So yeah.
Yeah. Depends which ones you get hold of, and the U.S. government doesn't suspend. That could be yeah, it's going to be interesting actually. Yeah, I was a bit gutted that I couldn't test out this Claude Fable. Well, instead I watched the World Cup. Basically, I was binge watching World Cup highlights because the World Cup's on. I saw the
Yeah,
Aussies bit of an upset
yeah,
against the Turkish, which was
2
which
nil
yeah,
against Turkey. Yeah, very
yeah,
yeah, it
good.
was a great game. I didn't know any of the players' names because it's a pretty young team, and I think 10 of the 11 were like World Cup debutants. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they're
we've
not
got
known for their
a
football,
young
are they,
squad.
Australia? They're- yeah,
No, not
no.
really, no. So, but we're getting there. We got a good team. So yeah, big chance to take out the World Cup this year. We'll see how we go.
Well, yeah, no, I'm rooting for the Aussies alongside obviously the English first and foremost. But no, it's good to see. It's good to see. Good stuff.
So yeah, I think on the Fable side too, man. Like just getting an insight into it. It's hard to go back even to Opus when you know. I think it's a mindset thing. You know, you're not using the best model that's currently out there, and you're like, "Oh." But before that, Opus was amazing. It was the best of what was available. And then Fable came along and you're like, oh my gosh, my coding just got like another, 4 or 5 levels above where it was previously. So yeah, it's kind of, I think Fable will come back soon. It's just a matter of time. I think there's a bit of politics around it at the moment, but it was interesting because I was reading a lot of the comments about it, and they're like, it's not going to take the Chinese models long to catch up to this kind of Fable level, and they're going to open source it. So the US government isn't going to be able to shut it down because it's going to be open source and on people's local devices. So there's there's no way you can shut that down once it's on someone's local device and they're using, they're not tied to one of these larger companies. It'd be interesting to see what happens in that space because, I mean, one, we've already seen a leak of Claude's master code basically that went out. So yeah, I can't imagine all these other open source models are going to be that far off. So yeah, be interesting to see what's coming. But I will say a lot of the students that I've been coaching have been using kind of Claude and ChatGPT or whatever kind of AI service they're using to kind of get help managing their Google Ads account. And some of the recommendations I've seen have just been like wild. Like, okay, I've still got a little bit of time because what the AI will do is it'll focus on one issue without context and like give them advice without full context in some cases. And it's hard to ask the right questions if you don't know what you're looking for. So I still think there's an edge, but don't get me wrong. I think the management side will eventually move to business owners or teams that don't have time to go in to do it themselves because eventually I think with all the knowledge and all the systems that are coming out, you will be able to have like an internal team member or a junior operator at a pretty high level. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting transition. Obviously, you and I are both in the service space, so we're not going into it with our eyes closed. We know that these things are coming, people are using these things, and unless they're super time poor, then the client acquisition phase may get more difficult for agency side in the future. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Watch this space, but I also think a lot of the creatives that are in the service space, if they do start dropping off, they will come up with other creative avenues to add value to the community. So I think it's going to be an interesting space to see what happens, what's kind of built from this period, and kind of where things go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my opinion on it as well is that, typically the type of clients that say me and you would go for or end up working with, they're not going to always be the clients that are going to use AI on and immerse themselves because they're just too busy. So I do think really, a lot of the AI is going to be used by a kind of startup e-commerce stores that are kind of building. They don't have the budgets yet. And really, they're replacing the AI is replacing the Fiverr market, in my opinion. Like
100%.
Fiverr.com, where you go on, you get
Yeah.
something cheap. It's not always
I even used to get voiceovers from Fiverr. You would just go straight to 11 Labs now. Like that kind of skill set is gone.
absolutely. So I don't think at first, yeah, there's always that worry in the agency space. Okay, we're gonna, are our services and expertise needed? But the more AI kind of evolves, and more importantly, the search market evolves for e-commerce stores, it's like I think real-time expertise is going to be needed more than ever because algorithms are changing, new platforms are emerging. So maybe brands aren't paying necessarily always for execution, but they're paying for oversight and guidance, and they realize that, agencies, freelancers will be using AI more, but they're looking for, okay, is the output that's been produced correct or not? And I'm finding I am helping clients with that more and more, like, for example, just over the last week, a client of mine, they were creating blog content and I was basically providing them feedback based on that AI content that they produced, or their writer was kind of involved in that editorial process as well. So yeah, I think things will evolve, but I do think there's still a demand for agency services and consultants. I just think the value and level needs to be higher. I think a lot of
I
those kind
agree.
of fly by, agencies that were just focused on sales and not delivery, they're going to be gone soon, because I think a lot of brands have been burnt in the past as well, and they're looking for someone that they can trust to actually deliver a good service, provide results, and also communicate effectively. Communication is a massive one, which I think a lot of e-commerce brands are, see as an important aspect of, if they're going to hire a service provider, you need to be able to communicate effectively. And I'm amazed at how many brands I've spoken to that they'd hired in the past, and communication was one of the key factors in why they fired their agency in the past.
Yeah.
Jimmy, and one thing that I'm finally going to pull the plug on this week is going to get rid of my SEMrush subscription.
There we go. It's a big call.
Yeah,
Hot take. The title of this video: Charles completely gets rid of SEMrush. SEMrush gone. Clip
I'm
this.
done with it.
SEMrush no longer needed. AI has completely taken over. Hot take, everyone.
Yeah, we're probably going to hate me for this. If we ever get more visibility on this podcast, there's maybe they contact me. But I think the problem when you get SaaS companies that then get bought out, because basically SEMrush got bought out by Adobe, and what you find is it's all about increasing shareholder value and driving as much profit and revenue as possible, and in turn, what got them to that level is often the downfall, because everything is an add-on with SEMrush now. It's like you go, I can't remember what plan I'm on, but basically
the free plan now.
Well, yeah, it will be, soon enough. I integrated it with Claude, with their API. SEMrush have got like an MCP where you can connect these kind of connectors, is what they call these.
I can't tell if we've lost Charles or myself. So what we'll do is, we'll keep going. I'm actually interested to hear about that. So we might bring Charles back in a moment if he comes back on. But essentially, he's got rid of his SEMrush subscription. I can tell you now, like, a lot of the keyword research that I'm doing is in the Google Ads platform itself and the keyword planner. So I'm actually going through there a lot more to have a look at the keyword research, but also the other places that you can go for like search intent is just the AI engines now, and I'm guessing that's what Charles is doing, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he comes back. But before while Charles looks like he may be having some technical issues, but what I will chat about is, so I have been diving into OpenAI ads this week. Now, it's been a slow start, so been through a couple of $100 without a conversion yet, but there's just so much to test at the moment. I don't want to write it off too early. We need to test some different products. We need to test different product price ranges and see how it goes. Oh, here we go. Charles is back.
My laptop decided to suddenly cut out. Actually,
No, that's all right.
I just bought a new MacBook at the weekend, and I haven't set it up, which is one of the reasons my current laptop is, I think, it's run its course.
Yeah, well, your video quality is higher on my end now. It's like you've got a fresh start. I was just saying when you left, I was like, oh, I don't know if I cut out or Charles cut out. Just in case it was Charles that cut out, I'm going to keep talking. So I was just saying that I was testing AI ads this week and probably spent a couple of $100 without a conversion yet. But I was just saying that there's so much more to test. So I haven't written it off yet, but well, I haven't written it off. I'm not writing it off. I think it's going to be an important platform, and I think the actual ad manager itself is only going to improve over time. But early testing is, I'm just waiting for that first sale. So I'll be happy to see that one come through, getting traffic now. So the ads are live. But yeah, you just got cut off, Charles, before you finished your SEMrush abandonment story. So what are you replacing it with?
Yeah, so what I was saying before my laptop decided to cut out on me is the reason that I've finally decided to migrate away from SEMrush is because everything is an add-on, an extra cost. If you want to add on AI search visibility tracking, and track certain prompts to see how you're showing up for AI searches, that's an additional cost. If you want to now link Claude and get access to their APIs, that's an additional cost. So I kind of looked at what was around, and I'm 99% sure I'm going to go with a brand called SEMrush. And the reason being is they offer more for less in terms of tracking. So like, for example, the SEMrush plan I'm on, you can track 500 keywords, but there's no AI search tracking. With SEMrush, you can track 2,000 keywords and you can track 100 AI search prompts. And this is across any of my clients. So it doesn't have to just be on one domain. As far as I'm aware, you can track as many sites as you want. Yeah, and I was looking through over the weekend, and there's a lot of cool features. You can also see with the AI search tracking, you can see the cached image. So it will show you whether your brand is showing up for a certain search prompt, and you can click and you can visually see within, say, ChatGPT, a visual of it. So you can see what the search was, and you can see what's showing up, and you can also you can track your competitors as well. So you can do a side-by-side comparison. So there's some, really useful data there. It's, their annual plan is basically half the price of SEMrush. So I've pretty much decided I'm going to make that switch. I've just got to pull the trigger on it. But if you are looking for a kind of all-in-one SEO and AI search tracking tool, maybe have a look at SEMrush as a competitor to SEMrush or Ahrefs, a couple of others as well that people use within the organic search space.
Well, that could be the title of the video. Swapping to SE rankings, was it?
SEMrush, yeah.
Get them on as a sponsor, especially if you're
Yeah.
testing them.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
no, I think the software as a service is definitely going to be a race to the bottom. And like, if you're not constantly innovating and providing value, like, I don't think especially if you're a high priced kind of software, like if you're high priced and you're not creating more value than these lower tier things, then your days are numbered. So, and I think you're right. I think actually I haven't seen a drop off from Klaviyo yet, but I was worried about, so Klaviyo, the email marketing platform, once they went public, I was like, oh, the same thing's going to happen. It's been a good run, but it's probably going to drop off. It hasn't yet, but who knows? In fact, if anything, they've probably added a lot more new features. So I've been actually pleasantly surprised that they have kind of integrated a lot more things and integrating AI in there as well, and making the design of the emails easier too. So I've been impressed there, but like you said, who knows? Hey, I was going to ask, is the AI tracker thing available in the Search Console for Google yet, or no? I know we kind of touched on it last week.
No, not yet. It's being rolled out actually in the UK initially.
Okay.
And hopefully, I guess, within the
I just saw
next couple
someone
of
talk
weeks.
about it on LinkedIn today, and I was like, oh, maybe it's rolled out. So
No, it's only in the
I'm
UK, I think.
okay, that makes sense.
But excited to see that data when it comes available. And I think that will, if some of these kind of third-party tools can plug into that data as well, that's kind of where the value will lie as well, I think. So it'd be interesting to see. And I've been looking, the fact that Bing has that AI search performance dashboard, I've been looking at Bing a lot more actually to kind of see what types of content are performing well in
Okay,
their
interesting.
AI, their Microsoft Copilot. Because, I'm seeing a little bit of a correlation between, say, for example, blogs that are ranking in AI overviews, they're also doing well in Bing Copilot as well. The
Okay,
algorithms
interesting.
seem to be relatively similar in terms of what performs well in Google typically performs well in Bing. I have seen some differences though. In certain, for example, certain collections are doing better on Bing than they are on Google in terms of rankings, citations from AI. So like I said, I think I mentioned it before. One of my clients seems they do pretty good on Bing in terms of visibility and revenue. It's certainly not. Yeah, it's lower than Google, but it's certainly not a small percentage in terms of traffic, visibility, and organic revenue.
Yeah, okay. I find that, I don't know if you find this, Charles, but I find my clients that serve kind of, I guess, an older demographic do well on Bing, and the reason is that, well, the reason that's suggested is anyway that the older demographic use the default search browser on their mobile phone, whereas the younger demographic will, well, including myself, always switch to Chrome. I don't like the default browser, but the default browser usually uses Bing for Android phones anyway. So, and Android phones are a huge part of the market. So, if you've got an older demographic that aren't swapping that browser and they're all just defaulting directly to Bing, then yeah, probably should be on Bing in some capacity. If you, especially if you're in a service based business like building and things like that, trades, they do well on Bing unsuspectingly for that type of audience too. So it's definitely an interesting one. But people that have listened to this show a few times know that I've got a gripe with Bing just because it's so hard to set up and you can be waiting months to get approved and it's just a nightmare to set up. So we've taken it off client side because I can't charge a client and then say, oh, sorry, it's still not up like 2.5 months later. It's just crazy. Like can't run a can't run a business like with that kind of reliability or that kind of setup time. It's just it's absolutely insane. So hopefully it improves because I'd like to get back on there because I think a lot of my clients would benefit from being on there. But at the moment, it's just an absolute pain.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if other people have the same experience, but yeah, my experience with Bing and getting the feed on and getting all set up and showing up organically to start off with and in ads has just been like painful. I don't know if I'm just coming from the Google world where everything is relatively easy, but yeah, hopefully that improves because I'd like to get a few more of my clients actually on Bing, see how it's going.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think what you're saying with the kind of older demographic, that kind of makes sense. Even the other one is that I see a little bit of a resurgence in is some of the kind of the privacy browsers like DuckDuckGo. Like I've
No,
seen an
yeah, I see
increase.
that come through a bit.
Yeah, so and I think we'll see a little bit. We'll continue to see that. I think there is a subsection of the
There's no
population.
ads on DuckDuckGo though, is there?
No, well, yeah, that's one of the main reasons is that you can opt out of the AI. So there are some users that just don't want an AI, search results. And I think I saw a headline the other week that there was a record amount of downloads for DuckDuckGo because of that reason. Some consumers just they want more privacy. They don't want Google
How do they make
having all their
revenue if
data.
there's not an ad model base?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I'd be curious to know. They actually make money. I don't know. I don't believe there's a charge for it, is there, to use
No,
the
no, I've
browser?
used it. I've used it a couple of times just to test it. It definitely was free, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have a paid upgrade version, but I mean, if you're already got not getting ads, I don't know what you get on the upgraded version.
No.
But yeah, maybe I'll look into that for next week. How DuckDuckGo is generating revenue. But yeah, I think the other things I've been working on this week is just like integrating Claude into Shopify stores directly, continuing to test. We've built out a skill for blogs now that can generate blogs. It's not perfect; it's still got a bit of work to do, but like as a starting point, it's definitely better than no blog. But yeah, still a little bit of work to do there. But yeah, just testing a lot at the moment. So much. It's hard to keep up in the AI space. I heard someone say if you're trying to keep up with everything that's happening in AI, just don't because you're going to drive yourself insane. But sometimes there are things that come out that are hard to ignore, like Claude Design, for example. Jumping in and testing that, you can see just the design stuff has always been my Achilles heel, and now I can just show it how I want something to look, and it's done, and it looks good, and I actually think it increases my brand value a little bit, when you're going out to clients, because before it was just Word docs and other things, this kind of adds a bit more of a professional feel to a couple of things that I'm working on, definitely.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think, like you said, gives you extra value. You can just, I do think, like I said, I do think clients will expect more now, um, as we have those tools available. I think that
Definitely.
naturally that will happen. Jimmy, I think
100%.
we might be up at the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, that went quick. And I will say, so next week I am actually coaching at a retreat in Noosa. So next episode, I should say, will be delayed by 1 week. But yeah, we'll probably have a lot more testings, and I'll have some things to talk about from that mastermind event too. So we can jump into that. Hopefully the AI stuff is inside Search Console by then too. So that's coming as well. And yeah, a lot more testing this week. And I am experimenting a bit more on the design side too. I'm rebuilding my website at the moment, so be able to give some feedback on that too. It's so funny because the people that say, you can get things done 80% of the way pretty quickly in AI, which you can. Like the first thing was done very quickly, and then I'd say like the last 20% of it can take, like, you can do this first 80% in probably a couple of hours. The last 20%, I reckon, is going to take me like 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's just that fine tuning, fixing everything up, getting all the little bits and pieces added. But yeah, we'll get there soon, and looking forward to chatting to you guys all about it in a couple of weeks' time. Catch you on the next episode. Thanks, guys. Check us out at Ecommerce marketing chats on all the podcasting platforms and Shopify marketing secrets on Facebook. Catch you there. Take care.